The D200 arrived that way, that most old cameras do, quietly without ceremony, a body that had already done its work somewhere else, in someone else's hands, before it found its way into my hands. First days with a camera are always like that, a kind of careful circling, learning the weight of it, the particular resistance of the shutter, the way the viewfinder frames the world differently to every other camera you might have owned. This was day one, 116 frames shot, and not a single memory card removed. These old Nikons, the D200, the D70, the D50, they were built when digital photography was still finding its confidence, still proving something. The engineering is solid in the ways that matter. The sensors still resolve details that holds up. The glass still holds what glass has always done. But the memory card slots on these bodies carry a particular vulnerability. The pins are small, they're precise, they're irreplaceable in the way that only specific things can be irreplaceable. They bend easily, they wear down, they fail in the quiet way that expensive things fail. Slowly then suddenly, and then they're expensive to replace. Camera repair is not cheap, and there's nothing more dispiriting than a repair bill that costs more than what your camera actually cost you. So I've stopped pulling the card out. This is the UCE4 Nikon old proprietary data cable off Amazon. The kind of thing that a camera in a box of cameras like this one, and was immediately placed in a drawer, and people forget about it for 15 years. $7 this cable. You can still find them. They're not rare. They're not sought after. They do one thing, and they do it without a complaint. One end connects to the USB point on the camera, that small square down the bottom socket that sits beside the memory cards and that gets ignored. The other end connects through an Apple camera adapter. It's directly to my iPad. The card never leaves the camera now. The pins are never touched again. The T200 is simply sitting there, switched on. It's patient, and it lets the images travel through another way to your iPad. 3 things. The UCE4 cable, an Apple USB adapter. You might have a Lightning or USB depending adapter for your iPad, depending which one you're running. And the camera itself sets correctly before you connect. On the D200, you go into the shooting menu, you find the USB connection setting, you set it to PTP, not mass storage. PTP, that single setting, is different when the iPad recognizes the camera and the iPad seeing nothing at all. Once it's set, plug it in, switch the camera on, open the iPad Photos app, and then ask the iPad one simple question. Click Import. And then you wait. It's not everything about a first day of a camera is about the camera. Lewis, my dog, has shown his relationship with the patience. He practiced patience. It's different to me. Well, considerably more movement and considerably less interest in the memory card preservation. But my dog was there the first day I used the camera. And it was present in the way the dog always shows up while I'm doing stuff. It's completely without reservation. Without any awareness, he didn't know he was going to get photographed. So 116 frames, some of these have his cat friend on the end. Now the transfer is slow. I want to be honest about that. This was never a fast cable and a fast camera in a fast era. It moves through the pace it was designed for, which is to say, the pace of a time when nobody expecting photographers to arrive instantly. 116 images from a 53-minute walk on my first day with this camera. The camera had been waiting for someone to use again. It's only got 20,000 shots on the shutter count. Photographs have always asked something of the people who practice it. It asks us to wait for the light, to hold the frame, to resist the impulse to check the result before the moment had finished becoming itself. It's a slow progress bar. It's not inconvenient. It's just the same patience the medium has always required, and you're wearing a different shape. The images arrive, one at a time with a green tick, and they're still sharp, they're still tiny thumbnails, but it's worth waiting for. So 116 photographs from a single afternoon short walk from a camera that cost me less than a single lens filter costing new. The D200 seems the way the cameras from the era saw, with a particular quality colour, a particular rendering of shadows, a particular relationship between the highlight and the texture that later sensors approach differently. It's not better, it's not worse, it's different, it's great. First day's always like this. Not quite sure what you're looking for yet. Still learning which focal lengths feel natural on that new body. I still read the meter on the top little screen, testing the exposure modes, using those little links, testing exposure modes, building the vocabulary of a camera you don't fully know yet. 116 raw photo frames is just a great beginning. It's just a beginning with this new camera for me. And the D200 is quite a heavy little camera made out of magnesium, but it's good for your arm strength. So $7. That is the cost of protecting a memory card slot that cannot easily be repaired. $7 and the willingness to move a little slower than the world currently expects. The world expects photographs to move. The D200 is still functional. The pins are now untouched, and I won't remove that CF card from the camera. It's a 32GB card in there, and it can hold 13K of photos, but formatted in the camera. The images are on the iPad, and the camera is ready for tomorrow, for whatever the light decides to do with the afternoon, and I'll take it to a convent, a 160-year-old convent. No nuns. If you're still shooting with an old body, old glass, old sensors, old habits that happen to produce something real, there's mirror of this here. Next week's footage from the field, that 53-minute walk, the D200 will show you the footage that I shot today. It's a D200 out in the world being used in the way it was meant to be. It's a kind of photograph that makes sense to you. So stay close. Stay safe, people.